fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Batman Batcave from the 4-inch line of figures from Spin Master for the upcoming film The Batman. Actually comes out next week. This box is absolutely massive, so I apologize ahead of time. I'm having a hard time keeping it all in frame. I got this from GameStop. I actually found it online on their website, and it was around $40. I think it was like 40 or 42, something like that. It came in a massive box, and I was really surprised because I did not think this thing was going to be this big. You can kind of see the two 4-inch figures here for scale just to get an idea of how massive this box is. But as you can see, you get the two figures, you get a motorcycle, you have this playset here. And I really didn't know what was going on with this kind of archway with the stairs for his Batcave. But if you take a look at this picture over here, and I'll try to zoom in on it, it's basically like an old subway station or something like that, because he's got kind of the car up on the ramp, and then it's underneath the archway, and then he's got kind of like his little computers and gadget table and things like that. So that's what's going on with this. It'll be explained better once we actually get to see the movie, I'm sure, but I do appreciate they kind of included that little still on the box. I think that's kind of neat. Over here you can see some of the features you get. There's a trap door apparently for the Penguin to fall through. I do appreciate that this comes with a unmasked Batman, so you actually get to see Bruce Wayne with the helmet off in the costume. It's a little bit of a variation, which I appreciate, instead of just giving us yet another Batman, just like all the other ones we've gotten already. So I do appreciate there's a little difference there. He does have the armor, the helmet, and the chest plate that you can pop on, and we'll check that out in a minute. Otherwise, he just kind of shows him riding the motorcycle. So, well, hopefully it has more features than that. We'll see how it goes. But this is a massive box. If I spin this around so we can take a look at the back here, it just kind of shows off the same kind of features. He, of course, comes with some accessories and everything that we'll get to. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and get everything out of the box here, and we'll take a closer look. So here's the Batcave with everything that comes in the box. Of course, you have the archway, you have Bruce Wayne, you have the Penguin, you have these two kind of workbenches, you have this circular platform here, and then you have the bike. So because there's a lot of stuff to go through here, I'm going to kind of break it down into different pieces, and we'll go through each individual little thing so you can see all the features and everything like that. But I wanted to show everything first all together so you can get the full scope of the playset. So up first here we have the archway, the motorcycle, and what I assume is a turnstile, or supposed to be a turnstile. It doesn't actually turn around or anything. It's just a hollow piece of plastic. You have the little ramp here for him to drive the bike up. Would have been nice if this could have actually spun around so you could drive the bike up, have it spin, and then he could, of course, deploy the bike right away. I think that's what they're kind of going for in terms of, you know, what this is supposed to be, but obviously it doesn't have any functionality. You can, of course, park the Batmobile under the archway. It's definitely wide enough, no problems there. You'd have to get this piece out of the way because this is too small for the Batmobile, but if you wanted to situate the Batmobile under the archway, you should have no problem with that. Moving on to the bike, I think it looks pretty cool. It's a little bit bigger than Selina's bike. I'll bring that in a moment for a comparison. Definitely has some more paint applications. You have some gray here for the seat, nice yellow here for the headlight. You have kind of a cool bat ears piece here for the bike. I think looks kind of neat. Some nice paint applications here for the engine, the exhaust pipes right there, pretty cool. And that is the same on both sides. Wheels spin pretty well. They're just plastic wheels, no rubber tires or anything like that. I will say, though, as opposed to Selina's bike, the kickstand this time definitely gets the job done. That's not going anywhere. I could shake this. That's still not going to fall over. And that folds away very nice and easily. So I think this is better. I think this is definitely the better of the two bikes. Just to bring Selina's in here. You can see it's definitely a little smaller. This one's not bad, but I think this one's a little better. Unfortunately, still can't steer. So the front tire doesn't move at all. It would have been nice if that could steer, but otherwise, it's all right in terms of a motorcycle. I'm going to put this off to the side and move this out of the way so we can concentrate on the archway here. There's not a lot going on here. You have the two staircase pieces that you have to snap into the larger archway piece. They come separate in the box. They do have it so that it's made in a way that you can't put snap the staircase on the wrong side, which I appreciate. But there's not really much to this. It's hollow underneath here, as you can see. There's really nothing going on. You do have a little bit in terms of play features here. You can just kind of push this to pop these down. And then it just kind of like clicks back into place. There's kind of just like a little pin here just to kind of stop it. You can kind of see that there. and then that'll click up, and then you can kind of click it back down just by pushing it just with friction. So you can also pull this piece off if you want to simulate like battle damage. You really just have to rip it off, but that can pop off of there as well. So not really that exciting. In terms of the trap door, I wish that there was like a mechanism for it, because if I bring Penguin in here, you know, I can kind of stand him on. Let me go ahead and angle the camera up so you can see what I'm doing. And then you just kind of have to like push this down with your fingers, and then he drops down. So it would have been nice if there was like a button, like if this clicked up, and then I could situate him here, and then like hit a button maybe like over here or something, and then it would just drop out. I feel like that would work a lot better, but unfortunately not how it works. So yeah, I don't know. It's all right. It's a little lackluster in terms of like a playset feature-wise. I think it's a little boring. I mean, to me, a good playset should have a ton of play features. That's why it's a playset. But I don't know, not too much going on with this one. It looks all right. If you just want a decent display piece, something to park the Batmobile under, I think it's okay. And you can definitely pose figures. Like, you can definitely fit, you know, people over here, all up here on this side. You can't really have them like stand on the stairs, unfortunately, because they're not really wide enough. Maybe if you wedged him in here somehow. No, he's just going to fall down the stairs. So the stairs aren't really good for posing, but any of the landings, you would have no trouble. Man, these stairs are a little bit wider. I guess you could, if we take a look at this, these stairs up here are a little bit wider, so you could get a couple poses on those. But these on the side are definitely thinner, so not going to work there. So yeah, it's okay. It's not that great. You have the archway. You have this piece here. And then, of course, we have the bike. They're all right. All right, so up next, we'll take a look at the two kind of workbench pieces. This is kind of neat. I like how this one works. He looks like he's got some gauntlets up here he's working on. These do not come off. They're just stationary on there. Maybe some batarangs over here. These are actually accessory pieces you can take off. They actually clip on really nicely, which I think is kind of cool. So here is the mask. You can go ahead and remove this and place this on the figure, which we'll do a little bit later. And then this chest piece you can also remove. I'm pretty sure this is the same chest piece that came with the single packed figure. And we'll take a look at this some more later on, but you can go ahead and clip that on there. So I think that's kind of cool. It makes it look like he's actually actively working on his armor. Otherwise, this thing is really hollow. There's not much going on here. I mean, I get it. You don't really need it to have like a ton of extra plastic back there, but I don't know. It just makes it seem a little cheesier. But I do think it's kind of neat. I like the armor workbench. I think that's kind of cool. I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be. I thought, you know, maybe it's with Batman in the Batcave, you usually have some kind of surveillance going on. Usually when he has a ton of screens, it's because he's, you know, looking into different cameras around the city or something like that. But all of these stickers are really just generic stuff. I don't even really know what's going on with these. This leads me to believe it's something to do with his gear or some kind of analytics or something like that. You know, he's working on, you know, new gadgets or things like that, and it's somehow tied to that. But they're still just very generic. I can't really tell what's going on. I kind of wish this was more of his surveillance, like show me a map of Gotham City up here, maybe show me the Riddler on this screen, the Commissioner over here, a live feed of City Hall or something. Some kind of surveillance. That's usually what Batman's known for when it comes to all his screens. It's usually him surveillancing the city, looking up data, doing research, things like that. I'm guessing this is mostly just supposed to be for science, you know what I mean? Like, this is his kind of workshop in conjunction with this piece over here, and that's fine, but I still feel like the stickers could be a little bit more interesting. I just don't even really know what's going on here. He also doesn't have a chair of any kind, so I guess he's just supposed to kind of stand here and work at the desk, which it scales well, and that works. I don't have a problem with that. I feel like the chair would have been nice, but again, not a big deal. I also just kind of wish, to me, it would have made sense to have one for gadgets, one for the research surveillance, instead of having them both for kind of gadgets, but not a big deal. And again, maybe he uses these in the movie specifically, and that's why they're here. That could be a possibility. I haven't seen the movie yet. Obviously, it's not out yet. So then this might make more sense in the future once I see the movie. But like I said, if I'm just thinking in terms of general Batcave things that I'm used to seeing, I feel like I would have liked to have one for fixing the gadgets. I love that. But then this one I would have had kind of general surveillance of the city, something like that. This piece is kind of a little wiggly back here. This is all one piece. I think that this is just kind of pegged in. You can see they're kind of snapped in there. But it's pretty solid. This one I think is a little bit more solid than this one, which is kind of very hollow in the back. But they're both okay. So here are the two figures in the set, and the box does boast that they are exclusive figures, and I will give them the unmasked Batman. We'll come back to him in a second. But as far as I can tell, this Penguin is exactly the same as the single release. I cannot find anything different. And just to illustrate my point, here is a comparison. Here is the single release Penguin. Exactly the same. Like I said, maybe this guy's a little paler. That's about all I can kind of say. But it's the same figure. It really is. Same articulation and everything. You have kind of a ball joint here for the head, side to side, up and down. You have hinge and rotation in the shoulder. Hinge and rotation in the elbow. Nothing in the wrist. Nothing in the waist. Kick forward, kick out to the side there with a ball joint in the hip, thigh swivel. You have a bend and a rotation in the knee. Nothing in the ankle or anything like that. But yeah, as far as I can tell, it's the exact same figure. It even comes with the same accessories. Now, these are great accessories, don't get me wrong. You have the umbrella that you can pull out the sword, a little hidden sword there in the umbrella. That's a really great accessory. Also really enjoy this briefcase full of cash. I think that's another really great accessory. But these all come with the single release. So if you already have the single release, you're really not getting anything new here, which is kind of a shame. I understand wanting to include a villain with this playset because it has the trap door that can make them fall through, so you want to kind of have a villain. And I don't know, maybe at some point in the movie the Penguin confronts him in the Batcave. I don't know. Again, maybe it'll all make more sense once we get to see the movie. But as far as I can tell, this is not an exclusive figure. They could have at least changed his shirt color or something to make him different. I feel like that would have been easy enough. Now, I don't know if this Penguin is going to have the kind of traditional, like, top hat, coat and tails monocle look or not, but they could have given him something like a top hat or something, just some kind of accessory or something to make him exclusive and different, and they just didn't. So that's it for him. We're going to put him off to the side. Let's change gears here to something that is exclusive. We have the unmasked Batman, so you get to see the Bruce Wayne face with all his mascara running. But I think this actually looks pretty cool. I do appreciate that they did something different. It makes sense. Bruce Wayne comes back to the Batcave. He needs to work on his gadgets. He's going to take his mask off. Otherwise, as far as I can tell, it's the exact same figure as the single release Batman, which I have right here. I believe all of the rest of the figure is exactly the same. It's just a different head. So I don't think there's anything else going on there. But run through articulation real quick. Pretty much the same as the Penguin. You got the head side to side, a little bit of back and forth, up and down there, but not too much. Hinge, rotation in the shoulder and elbow. Forearm and wrist, all one solid piece, nothing in the waist. Kick forward, kick out to the side with the ball joint in the hips. Thigh swivel. You have the bend at the knee, and then you have the boot that rotates. So you get a little boot side to side rotation there. Now in the packaging, it almost made it look like he didn't have his cape, because this was kind of tucked up like this. And I almost kind of wish he didn't have the cape. I mean, I guess technically I could remove it myself if I wanted to, but now that it's there, I don't want to remove it. But I just think it would be neat, like when he comes back to the Batcave, he would take his mask off, he would take his cape off, and then maybe he stays in the armor when he's tinkering around on his gadgets or whatnot. But I feel like when you're, in the cave working on stuff, you probably take the cape off because it would get in the way. But they do also give you this mask here to pop on, so I understand why they want the cape to stay on. Because they want you to be able to, put the mask on and then go out as Batman, so then he would have the cape. And there's no way to take the cape on and off, so I get that. The mask is okay. It's a little fat on his head, I will say. But I appreciate what they're going for. Unfortunately, the back of the head does stick out completely. But I do think it's cool. Honestly, I don't need the mask. I think it's neat to have it for the bench, so it looks like he's working on it. But I just like having the unmasked Batman just because it's a variant. It's something we don't have already, so I appreciate that. I would have liked an entire just Bruce Wayne figure, and then if you want to clip the mask on that or something. But they kind of just went the easier route of just giving us a new head on the figure we already have. They also have this same chest plate. Now, when I reviewed this back with the single release figure, I did not understand this. And people pointed out to me in the comments, and I want to thank you guys, this is supposed to be battle damaged. You can kind of see the scrapes on there, but it's very subtle. So you're supposed to clip this on, so now it looks like, he got battle damage, and then when you want him to be, back to new costume, you take it off. Okay, I guess, but that is really very minor. I mean, honestly, I didn't even notice it at first until people pointed it out in the comments. So thank you guys for pointing it out in the comments. But could have made it a little bit more pronounced, I feel like, but they didn't. But that's okay. Other accessories, he gets 2 batarangs. We've seen these before with the single release figures. And then I guess this is a grappling gun. Not sure why it's bright red, but we've also seen this before with the single release figures. So I do like the maskless Bruce Wayne Batman. I think the Penguin is a swing and a miss. I would have much rather had an Alfred. You know, give us someone who it makes sense is only going to be exclusive to the Batcave. I feel like that would have been a perfect time to give us an Alfred figure. But again, I can understand wanting to pack in at least one villain because of the play features like the trapdoor and things like that. But I still would have much rather had an Alfred figure. I think that would have been a much better inclusion here. So this set is all right. I mean, there are definitely things I don't really like about it, but there are definitely things I do like about it. I think the Unmasked Batman is a really cool variant. I appreciate getting that. I think the motorcycle works well, and I didn't really show him off riding it earlier, but he does fit on it pretty well. I like that they did the kickstand much better this time, so you don't actually have any difficulty having it stand up. The 2 little workbenches are okay. They could have been better. I kind of like the smaller one better because it has room for the armor to clip on, so it looks like he's working on it. Plus, you have some of the gauntlets and the batarangs and things like that. With this one, it's very hard to tell what's actually going on with this because the things on the screen are very just kind of generic and weird. If they were going to do, like, if this is supposed to be for scientific research, then I would rather they had something that was a little bit more recognizable on here. If this is supposed to be for surveillance, I would have liked something like a map of Gotham or maybe some shot of the police station or things like that. Just something so you can tell what's going on. I think it's a neat accessory. I just don't really care for the stickers with it. This kind of thing here, it's okay. It gives some, definition to the set because without it, there's not much going on here. But I wish it had some kind of play feature. If it's going to be a turntable for the motorcycle, I wish it actually turned around so you could kind of drive it up and then have it spin around so it was ready to deploy again. Or at least put a ramp on both sides of it so it looks like he's supposed to kind of drive through or something like that. The archway piece here is, again, okay. You can pose some figures on the landings and things like that. The trapdoor works all right. I wish there was a button to kind of, make it work so you could put a figure on there and then have it, activated from away from the figure, because otherwise I kind of have to use the figure to knock it down or knock it down with my finger, and then it's not really believable that he's falling through as much as I'm just throwing him through a hole, if that makes sense. Part of the railing can break off, which is kind of a decent feature. It's a little weird to just rip it off of there. I kind of wish that there was, again, something like maybe it was spring-loaded or you could hit it with something and it would fall down or something like that, instead of just ripping it out and making it look like the railing's damaged. Again, they're not terrible features. I just feel like with a little bit of refinement, this could have been a really cool playset as opposed to just being okay. I don't really understand the inclusion of the Penguin. They say it's an exclusive figure. It's not. As far as I can tell, it's exactly the same as the single release. I do understand wanting to include a villain because you have play features like the trapdoor to make the villain fall through, but I would have much rather just gotten him separately and had something really exclusive like an Alfred figure. I think that would have been a perfect inclusion here because Alfred doesn't really leave the cave or do anything else, so it would have made perfect sense to have him be the exclusive figure to the Batcave playset, and I think really would have driven up this set's value, or give us a full-on Bruce Wayne action figure. I think that would have been really cool as well. I guess they figure people don't really want a full Bruce Wayne in a suit because that's not a fun action figure. But I mean, the Penguin's in a suit. What's the difference, right? I don't know. In any case, I think the set's all right. I think $40 is not really that ridiculous when you think about the fact that you're getting 2 figures and the motorcycle, because that set at Walmart with Selena Kyle was like $20, $22. So you're kind of paying $20 for the archway and the turntable and the 2 things and the accessories and things like that. So I feel like it's not really that bad in terms of value. It's just, is it exciting? I don't really think it's that exciting, but I think it's okay. If you're looking for something to just kind of be like a nice figure backdrop to pose things or maybe take some photos, something like that, I think this could work. If you're looking for like an honest play set with really good play features, I don't really think this is the one for you. But I think it looks good aesthetically, and if you're just trying to pose some figures, I definitely think it could work for that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.